Unfortunately, like MKOI just outpacing them when it came to the mid game, and there was some overextensions from Fnatic. But I think there are like positives to take away from that game, and I think especially for this, if you can try and take that lead early against GIANTX, we've seen that GIANTX haven't been able to establish a lot of those, comeback potentials that maybe they want to.
I 100% agree, and I think it's a game that's going to be defined by the bot lanes, right? Junglers going to bot lane are looking to get Noah and Jun or Upset and Lospa ahead. Like, Upset so consistently has been the guy on Fnatic. It's like, okay, if we play around him, we can win games. And for GIANTX, I think Noah has been the shining light so far in this split. His Kai'Sa has been exceptional. So we see Akali, Yone, and Vyvanse coming out from Fnatic, Jace, Varus, and one last man, it's Jarvan from GIANTX.
So Azir, Ryze, Yunara, all still up and available if you want to try and go for it. We'll have to see. It is interesting to see a lot of teams opting in towards red side because there's so many power picks in the different roles. You're just happy to say, hey, I'll get 2 for the 1 that you get on blue side. But I imagine it'll be Azir here.
Rob, right of first selection changes that. Remember?
But in this case,
yes. I mean, Fnatic chose first pick. So you get second pick anyway, no matter what side you are. I do wonder perhaps, like, I, in solo queue, have a 6% higher win rate on blue side. I don't know why. It's something to do with the angles. Maybe teams have actually looked at that for their players. Like, oh, we prefer playing with easier access to Dragon Pit, or we prefer playing with easier access to Baron Pit.
I think that was looked into for, like, League as a whole or something.
Yeah.
Slight, isn't it?
There's a slight mismatch. I think there was one with Rumble where it had a 5% win rate higher on one side than the other. Anyway, Rumble is picked for Fnatic. That bug, thankfully, was fixed. GIANTX going for a tested combination. Orianna, Nocturne, the darkness wave spreading across the rift. Isma's Nocturne, we saw it a couple of times last year. He's pretty confident on it, and Jackie's on the Orianna. It's a relatively easy combo to hit. You're also giving away the Yunara, so GIANTX kind of know we want someone that can go in and assassinate that backline.
The question, though, is like, how do you... Well, Fnatic are immediately going to pick the Azir, but how do you try and respond to keep these 2 carries safe, right? Because they are immediately going to be trying to jump onto Yunara and look for the one shot. Yeah. So do you try and take something like a Lulu or something along these lines for Lospa to try and provide a little bit more healing and shielding and, well, a health bar in general to try and survive? Or what is your answer here? Because if you end up having a solid mid jungle that you can play around to get early kills and set up Orianna for success, you just don't have a counterplay button in a lot of situations.
Yeah, I wonder if Fnatic will look at, can we find a counter engage for ourselves? Nico is still up, something to distract the enemy backline while you have to survive through the shockwave, but with a barrier, you can kind of do that. With a stopwatch, you can kind of do that on the Azir. So if they're the players being dived on, maybe you can just survive that initial shockwave combo and then go in for the re-engage. Wukong Band Away does that to a degree, the Cyclone getting onto that backline, with the K'Sante being the last pick for GIANTX. So we have AD carry mid and top on one side for Fnatic, and then that jungle mid duo and the K'Sante. Fnatic are going to get rid of the Nico themselves. I mean, a darkness Nico is something you don't really want to see, man.
Yeah, I'm curious, because like, you could try and look at a Bard, you could try and look at the Xin Zhao in the jungle as well for Razork to just, as you say, try and provide at least that break point from the follow-up. But I've seen so many times where Orianna can just one-shot
someone just dies.
It's just so hard. But GIANTX, I think I like the fact that they are taking an aggressive route here. Like saying, hey, we want this level 6 combo, we want to try and force fights around us, and actually take the fight early against Fnatic and try and snowball us.
Yeah, I very much agree with you. I was trying to work out in my head for a couple of moments there, what would a Darkness Shockwave Pop Blossom combo be called?
Oh.
And I think it's Microwave Popcorn. Because you put them in the dark and then they all jump up, right? It's pretty solid. Not going to see it in this game. Kai'Sa taken away from Noah as well. No real surprises there. This year, GIANTX have a 100% win rate when Noah gets that. Kai'Sa has played it in 2 of their games. So here, GIANTX looking towards their AD carry makes the most sense. Leave the support counter for last. You could go for something with a bit of range and push on the bot side. Caitlyn Karma does that. Could also look towards something like the Braum if you wanted a bit more protection, but it's going to be Aphelios instead here for Noah. So front to back on top of that Shockwave 1D combo is actually really strong already from GIANTX.
Yeah, very, very strong setup from GIANTX. And again, I'm curious how Fnatic want to try and respond. Like, do you just take that Xin Zhao for Razork and say, hey, we're going to try and fight at least somewhat in the early stages and then have that opportunity to use Razork as that buffer between the front and back line of GIANTX? It looks like that's going to be the case.
That it is. There's the Xin Zhao for Fnatic now looking towards support. I'm wondering where you want to go. I mean, you could look for something that is okay in the lane, or you could just look for another beefcake, and that's exactly where they've gone. The Alistar, the Lock, GIANTX immediately know they want to go for something like the Lulu. This Aphelios, relatively safe, just needs a little bit of bolstering, a wild growth if he does get jumped on, a help picks if an equalizer comes down, that little bit of extra shielding to really buff him up and allow him to survive through any initial damage Fnatic can put out.
It's also for the Nocturne, right? Whenever Nocturne goes in, you're kind of isolated, especially in a composition like this. So if Isma can try and get back in towards Jun's safety, he can provide like the wall growth and shields and everything else to keep him going. Plus in the early stages, Jun on roams, just giving that extra attack speed to Nocturne is so disgusting. So this, for GIANTX, I really like what they brought to the table.
Actually really like Whimsy as well into Fnatic's composition. Like if you're going to polymorph someone, and Alistar going in for headbutt, pulverize, polymorph him in midair. Yunara dashes forward with her ultimate up, polymorph her immediately. Azir goes in, polymorph midair as well. You don't get that Emperor's Divide. I really like the Lulu pick here for Jun. I did have a quick look. Noah all-time on this Aphelios is most played champion, 65% win rate on it. Didn't play it really that much at all last year, but very confident on the pick. And if you are GIANTX, putting a lot of eggs in the Noah basket makes a lot of sense with how well he's been playing so far this year.
He's been absolutely fantastic. And again, like, there's so much that you can try and play through in these early stages. I'm just excited to see if GIANTX can try and find that success here against Fnatic.
Fnatic trying to bounce back from that loss yesterday as we make our way onto Summoner's Rift. And, hey guys, it's a Fnatic game. I'm really sad we didn't put it on the bingo card. Fnatic pause hack?
Yeah.
Question mark, question mark, question mark. I will find out exactly what it is. Sometimes when it's this early in the game, and this is me very much just pontificating, it's a rune thing, but I do see actually on our screens, Dagda has pointed out to me. I love pontificating, man. It's great. Yeah, I don't even know if the word really means what I use it for, but it's a mouse problem, it seems, for Isma. I get that sorted as soon as possible. There's some other things being said in chat that are very friendly between the two teams.
Noah saying, I love you, Ivan Martin Diaz, which is very wholesome.
It's very kind,
very nice.
And then a few meows.
Yeah.
A few meows coming out as well.
Of course.
The mic check-ins enjoyers from a couple of years ago. It looks like everyone's getting their ready checks out, so we'll get back into the game, hopefully, in just a moment's time.
I was just going to say, I think for Fnatic, there is a huge amount of pressure that's on Razork this game, because you've got Upset and Vladi that want to try and scale into the later portions of the game. And you don't really have apart from Lospa, like easy way to try and get into a lot of these lanes to set up. So it kind of hard forces you to go bot lane, but that also makes it very easy for GIANTX to just play around that. Yeah. And you already kind of alluded to how difficult it can be to play into a Lulu as an Alistar. You're taking a ton of poke. You try and go for an engage. Whimsy interrupts that. This game feels a little difficult for Razork to find success in lanes when he's going for ganks.
Yeah, there is the option to kind of try and subvert expectations as well. Go top. Cassante is killable in the early game, will be pushed in, like, get this rumble ahead, and then the equalizer does begin to really do some damage on that backline. You catch out a Lulu, doesn't matter how much she's shielding other people, right? That shield won't save her too easily. Jackie's took a bit of poke at the level 1, will be chipped away a smidge. But, yeah, unsurprisingly, Rob, both the junglers have started on the top side of the map.
That's crazy.
I believe they may be heading towards the bottom side of the map, where Noah, Jun, Lospa, and Upset reside. It would make sense. It would make sense. Unsealed Spellbook on the Alistar. You can see Aftershock. Sometimes you see Phase Rush. Unsealed Spellbook just gives you a little bit more power in the lane in terms of switching from the heal to an exhaust, getting a ghost, getting a teleport, or trying to influence a grub play in the early game when you want to be bot, making sure that your Yunara isn't getting dived.
Yeah, also can help just open up with a lot of taking in the other rune choices in that matchup as well. But I love seeing the early TP plays that we've seen. Mid-game TP plays they've seen from so many of the supports on, like, hey, I can get out to a dragon quicker, get a bunch of vision down, reset, and then come back out onto the map. And that there's so many times I've seen that be pivotal on setting up for a TP flank from a top laner, or even just the fact that you spot out a flanker that doesn't realize they've been spotted because you're moving around the map so quickly. So I really do like that we're seeing this kind of change and how supports are using teleport like that.
I think with the Alistar, you're going to get poked out in the early game, so having the ability to get back out on that map a little bit quicker later on can definitely help you. Jun doing exactly that, went for the Oracles first, knowing that he's going to be able to get bush control into a level 1 Alistar.
I've also seen in some of these matchups where the melee support has gone for the free boots in the inspiration tree, with the idea being, hey, I'm not going to be able to trade effectively onto the enemy's range support, which means I get less gold because I get less gold from the minions, so I'm going to take the free boots, and then it means that actually, well, I make up the 300 gold through that. It does mean that you don't have that a lot of the movement speed for early trades, which can hurt a little bit, but I think if you're just like, the lane's lost, I'm going to do my best, I've seen some people opt into it.
Yeah, you can actually see Lospa there sitting with 3 World Atlas stacks, just constantly rotating around. What am I meant to do, guys? I can headbutt pulverize them, but I think we lose if I go in, so just going to stand back here. Oh! He gets one of the stacks off, 15 gold.
And it only costs half his HP, so...
I mean, you know, probably not worth. Razork's going to path in towards this top side after taking the top side Scuttlecrab. Knew he couldn't play for the bot side Scuttlecrab with how pushed in his bot lane was getting, so just gets a little bit of vision with that Scryer's Bloom and then backs away. Isma already out on the map. Both these junglers do really like to get to that level 6, so I wouldn't be surprised if we just see both the junglers going back towards the top side being like, okay, we'll go for another clear. You can get about 5.5 off this second clear. You don't have the buffs for that extra XP.
But this is just perfect for Isma, right? Yep. Like, if both junglers are like hands off or just going to farm, it's perfect for a Nocturne. The quicker you can get to 6, the more impactful you can be. So if you're a GIANTX, this kind of slow pace early game is going to work fantastic for you.
Letting Noah get towards that BF sword first as well. We'll see if he does go down the serrated dirt route that Jack hates so much. It makes sense to me. I don't think you really need the extra lethality in the early game, but sometimes it can give you a little bit of a spike.
The actual surprise was that he didn't reset early for the cull. So often we see that Aphelios, you crash wave 3, especially when you've got the range support, go back, get a cull, and then come back in. And with home guards, it means you basically lose absolutely nothing, but very quickly start to scale up. And I don't, as we were kind of just saying, like see much in the way of skirmishes or early fighting happening, so probably wouldn't get punished for it too much.
It's an interesting sort of, there's multiple different decision trees you make there, which is I can back and early get a cull. That gives up a bit of pressure in the lane, meaning my jungler on this side is a little bit weaker, meaning that perhaps we don't get that first scuttle, meaning this. But I do get the cull, and then I get that gold infusion. Exactly. Or you can say, well, we've got the enemy Alistar down to half HP anyway. Let's just keep the pressure up, keep them under tower, make it so really harder for Upset to actually get the CS. There's about a wave's worth of CS lead for Noah, so it seems like that's what they decided. He's gone back, picked up the BF sword before going for the cull, but he could still go down that route, going for the early damage spike in the extra AD you get from the BF, whereas Upset's gone for the recurve cull combination that we so often see on Yunara.
Either way, I mean, I think you're going to be very, very strong. You can already see the CS lead starting to open up on the bottom side, and now you start to shift Jun into working with Isma. And this is something I love seeing when you got like Lulu Nocturne, you got like Lulu Zhao. If you can just prop her alongside this jungler, well, we may get a point in case how strong he can be.
Isma going in. The damage here onto Lospa. We'll get the fear down. Lospa does have the trample, polymorphed, and there's most of his HP gone. Jackie's jumped on here. Razork's not going to get the final order for the knockup from the 3 Talon strike. And we'll just walk his way towards the top side. A couple of pings coming out from Isma saying, hey, I want to clear, well, from GIANTX, I assume from Isma, saying I want to clear my Krugs and my red, and then I'm going to be level 6. And we can actually look for some of these paranoia ganks.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. The world is your oyster here as GIANTX, and it really is going to be on Razork to try and play counterpunch. It's a very, very difficult game to play. We already kind of said, hey, you don't have a huge amount of setup in your solo lane, so I mean, Razork trying to get in.
I mean, this is the counterpunch.
Yeah.
Right? He gets the Scuttlecrab, gets 6, and then looks for the invade towards these Krugs. The fear is going to come out from Isma, who doesn't hit 6 from clearing out the Krugs. Locke's coming across to try and protect his jungler's jungle. Dustbringer out from Isma, doesn't get the connection onto Razork, and now Isma needs to back away and wait for support. Pathmaker in by Locke. Jackie's and Vladi trading down towards the bottom side. Locke getting burnt alive. Crescent Guard out from Razork. Isma can't join the fight at all. Vladi losing down towards the bottom side. Good flash from Jackie's, but a flash from Empyros, and one away by Vladi will get him out. Empyros here, saving the day for Fnatic, finds himself a double kill, and this rumble in the jungle is online.
Great invade from Fnatic. You just had that reset from Jackie's, so he wasn't able to collapse as quick. And it's Razork and Empyros who are getting a ton of work done, but oh, hang on.
Flash forward from Lospa here. Noah not tanking the tower, still stunned up underneath it, but Upset not yet level 6. Jun able to keep his AD carry alive, and with the Severum coming up, Noah heals up just that smidge.
That was so close. You can look at that purple bar at the bottom. If upset at tick 6, would have got enough mana for ults, would have had all of his abilities then back up. His mana is a little low, but should have been able to get the dash, and that would have been enough to pick up the kill on towards Noah. But either way, GIANTX surviving the bot lane, and actually it's Isma who's going to pick up the dragon off the back. But we can see this invade here. Like, you've got that reset coming through from Jackie's. He's not going to be here. And Empyros coming across with some great damage. And Laure can't really do anything. Like, Isma wants to try and get in, but isn't able to follow up. And this flash from Jackie's is fantastic. But Vladi's able to step away in the top side, and Empyros getting so much out of this early Rumble pick.
He gets himself 2 kills while sitting on plated steel caps Dorman's ring, accelerating himself in this match. And we talked about it with the Cassante. It's a dark seal as well for Empyros, 4 stacks on it. But the Cassante, if he gets Kanik Rukun, can survive a lot of pressure from the Rumble. But if the Rumble starts getting ahead in the early game, that Cassante is really going to struggle. As Empyros now, perhaps we'll see some more play from Fnatic towards that top side. Give him a bit of protection, get a couple of wards down. There are grubs up there as well. You can see Lospa and Jun both pathing through this mid lane to look to see perhaps if there was a battle to be found. Lospa ticking over to 6 now, a little bit safer on this Alistar.
Looks like GIANTX basically saying, chances are Fnatic is looking up towards Rifteld. You can see that's where Razork is. So eyeing the idea of a potential play on towards this bottom side, it feels like Jackie's could try to roam down. I'm not 100%, but I think the wave might be pushing out, but I'm not guaranteed on that.
Well, Razork will be able to take the first of the grubs. Isma pathing through mid here with Jun and Jackie's. They get the push in the mid lane, but now they back away. So that's going to be 3 grubs over to Fnatic. Less of a consolation prize in this game than it usually is. I'll be happy enough to get those, and although they did give up a dragon a little while ago, they do have about 1,000 gold lead in this matchup. Lospa and Razork teaming up to try and steal away more of this jungle from Isma, knowing they have the push in top.
I don't think GIANTX should be trying to commit towards this top side of the map, though. Like, you try to jump on towards Razork, he has his own ultimate to stop that Isma-Jackie's combo, and you've got an isolated Yunara on that bottom side, and you saw so many members of Fnatic go into the top half, so I think a missed opportunity from GIANTX to try and make a play in the bottom side, while also giving Isma access to that bot side jungle, so at least he could trade some of the camps that have been stolen by Fnatic.
I agree with that. I can see them, going in, trying to steal away this red, using the time you have towards that bottom side to try and get the pressure. Noah still with a lead in this bot lane, about 20 CS up now. There is a wave coming in. It's about 9 or so, so should even out just a little bit, but still about a 3-wave lead here for Noah. Razork looking for the gank, but the Tribush ward, and Jun and Noah respecting the fact they are on the weak side of the map right now. Their jungler having just returned to base. I mean, they can just back away. Lospa puts the pink ward in, and Noah and Jun here, I mean, you can look to really hard shove out this lane, or you can just hold it a little bit further back. Don't use that Infernum gun. Instead, just use the Gravitum. They are going to push it out a little bit. Because now Isma is in the area.
Yeah, Isma being within range of his ultimate means you're way more likely to have that support if needed. So I think for GIANTX, again, like, we kind of said in the early stages, hey, they are happy getting to this point of the game, where nothing has really happened, and they're now getting access to these ultimate combos, and you can start to have these pushing lanes. We haven't really seen them take advantage of that, though, and it's actually Fnatic who are like, okay, well, we're picking up some kills, we're getting control on this top side, and Empyros is doing a good job now of getting leads in his lane. So I think if I'm GIANTX, this is where I'd like to see more movement between Isma and Jackie's to try and impact these side lanes.
I think when you get to that level 6, the first Paranoia is similar to a first Stand United, super important, and Isma actually looking towards the top side here. Empyros has that bounty on his head. They'll dive onto him. No flash still on this Rumble, knocked back by the Entopos. Veered back as well, and there's no escape really. An equalizer down just to clear the wave. Isma and Laure will secure GIANTX's first kill of the game. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Noah getting dived a little bit as Lospa looked for the play with the heal going in. A wild goes out as well, and Vladi and Razork on their way across. TP coming out by Laure, still has the all-out to defend, and will do exactly that. The back away from Fnatic, realizing they couldn't enact the dive with Cassante on his way.
Nice call from Loss. Knows that he can't really get much more on the top side.
Oh no, Noah got stopped. Laure stopped his recall to try and jump in the way of the boomerang thing coming out. Yeah, it's I'm not Atlas, man. I don't want to claim Slurkle for myself. Look,
it's not. He's very proud when other people use it.
Yeah,
he was very excited.
It's called Arc of Judgment, and naming people at Riot spend a long time naming that. Jackie's splashing away from Vladi here. Doesn't mean he no longer has that summoner. As Lospa comes in to get the push out here for his mid laner. Meanwhile, Noah and Jun have switched over towards the top side and are going to be met by Empyros on this rumble, who does have his flash back up, but no equalizer means he's going to have to be a little bit safer in this lane. Needs to back away to his tower immediately on seeing Noah. It's like, okay, I cannot be this far up.
Yeah, GIANTX just thinking, hey, we don't have enough damage in the tank, it feels like, to contest at any sort of dragon play. So instead, going to invest a huge amount on that top half. Razork already starting up the dragon, trying to make this as quick as possible. But I think if you're Fnatic, as you say, Empyros kind of needs to back away. I don't think Lospa and him alone can defend this.
We'll see if they manage to do so. No teleports right now available to anyone, so it would be a 2v3 if the dive does materialize. Lot needs to be a little bit cautious because he knows Razork is on his side of the map, just stealing away those camps. Isma doing the same. It's going to be a blue and a Gromp exchange, really. Lot clears out the wave, and Upset unable to get through those extra plates.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes on, like, as we were looking there, I think the biggest problem is that there wasn't really anything happening in the, any vision that was going down in the topside jungle for Fnatic. So all that Vladi did was just back away, actually went for the reset. But because GIANTX couldn't see where he was, it just completely was like, okay, we don't want to commit to anything topside. Jackies didn't actually shift to try and move into the top half of the map either. So Fnatic kind of get to defend the pressure on topside. They still get the dragon, and there's not really any sort of crossplay for GIANTX.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can see lead developing for Razork, at least in terms of CS, about 5 camps ahead because of how much counter jungling he has been doing. Isma hasn't had the time really to clear out these camps himself. Upset having to dash away here. Moonlight Vigil not connecting. Could have been the death of him, but he's able to walk his way out. Ult for ult exchange there in mid lane between these two AD carries. Only a very slight gold lead between Fnatic and GIANTX here. And with the Drake apiece, it's a very even early game, Dagda.
It definitely is. Like, I'm kind of being a bit negative on the way GIANTX are playing.
Oh, they're looking for Vladi.
Yeah, there you go.
Vladi, paranoia. Everybody's coming to get you the shockwave really early there as Isma unable to get onto Vladi, who dashed away. Now Razork trying to turn the tides in his favor, but with Jun coming across, maybe he can protect his jungler. Jackie's kept safe. Lospa was trying to collapse as well.
Excellently played by Vladi. I think Fnatic were expecting this play on the top side. You already had Razork in position, and Vladi ends up using the the EQ combo on the Azir to buy so much space, but
Jun has to use the wild growth on himself. Razork falling low. Isma looking for the fear here onto Lospa, who has used the Unbreakable Will, and will have exactly that. Just walks his way out. Good tanking for his jungler. But yeah, as you say, the sliding sands, shuffling sands, whichever one is called, from Vladi, able to get himself out of range of that shockwave.
Yeah, and then already Razork there to try and set up, so really nice. Now Vladi just looking to trade against Jackie's.
Jackie's doesn't have the flash, but can just walk his way out with the phase rush.
But yeah, as I was saying,
shifting sands.
I feel like I've been a little negative on the way GIANTX are playing, but it's still very much in their position to try and bring this game back. Like a couple of quick picks and you're in a decent spot. And it's just that I think they're missing a lot of opportunities that could have blown this game open for them, but they're definitely not out of this yet. As you can see, like if that combo from Isma and Jackie's had connected on the top side and suddenly you're taking a turn or getting even more gold influx into Jackie's, I think you're in a good spot for GIANTX.
I agree. Lead for Vladi in the mid lane. The only real sizable chunk of change, anything over 500. Vladi now sitting about 700 gold ahead. And with Jackie's flash coming back up, you can see that Emperor's Divide available as well to the Azir. Noah with a small lead in the AD carry spot, but with Upset cashing in his cull, that shrunk from what would have been about 600, now down to 300. Next Drake up in a minute 30-ish, as Noah continues to get the pressure in the mid lane here. We'll push in this cannon wave, and about 1 minion should be lost to the tower, although Upset's on his way very quickly, and Noah stopped using the Infernum, so Upset does actually catch that last minion. Lospa, they kind of know. Lospa goes in as the cow is immediately polymorph flash in. Zeke's Convergence coming out as well. Jun trying to flash away, but the Emperor's Divide will find 2. Noah the Moonlight Vigil with the Infernum isn't going to have the damage, but in the end, a 2-for-1 exchange. Fnatic winning it out.
Lot won out on the bottom side, though. Ended up getting the 1v1, getting that kill, but now Razork.
Flash in from Razork. Good shockwave back from Jackie's. Well positioned there on the ball. Vladi might look for more, though. Razork's going to put down the Rift Herald and the TP out by Jackie's, as he will manage to escape. Crystalline Overgrowth gets chunked out by Razork, and this will be the first tower of the game to Fnatic.
Still, even with that play happening Good job from Laure on this bot lane. Gets the solo kill against Empyros, manages an answer for the tower take as well. Kind of holding that play together, honestly, for GIANTX, because Fnatic finding that fight, finding the extra gold off the Rift Herald was huge. We'll see this replay now on the bottom side, and Empyros just not expecting Laure to be in that bush. Imagine the flick back into the pull away and just chasing him down.
Empyros does have a flash, at least according to the spectator client here. Kind of locked himself in the equalizer animation when he would have wanted to flash. Have another look at this, because Fnatic know something is happening here. I'm not sure exactly how they knew where GIANTX were. There was a ward behind, and Lost was just like, okay, my life behind, let's go.
Yeah, the fact that you end up knocking these Zins out away, though, a little unfortunate. But Fnatic just have more members in the area. Jackie's trying to come down from the top side, but now we're in towards Dragon and Lot on the front line.
Yeah, Razork trying to get in there, but Lot very tanky at the moment. Noah has a bunch of those crescendums, the chakrams around him. Vision cleared out. Lot looking for the knockback, gets Razork, and there's no escape. The polymorph again means that Razork can't use his crescent guard, and with the jungler down, Fnatic have to retreat. GIANTX get their second Drake of the game. Nicely
done by GIANTX. Getting the kill, getting the dragon, keeping that pressure up, and commanding that space in River is so important for a composition like this. The fact that Fnatic couldn't really step up, and they have to overextend in the fight, works out perfectly for them.
It really does. A lot now with the Iceborne Gauntlet and that Kanet Rukun. Very difficult to take out. You're looking at Vladi and Upset. It's like, okay, we need a little bit of time and a few auto attacks if we're going to manage to get this one. Isma going in, clearing out a bit of vision of his own. Empyros coming in from the side as well. Upset with the slow, with the slurkle. Paranoia out. Isma dives forward, but Upset gets the kill. His first of the game. Now at 1,995 kills all time in the LEC.
Not bad, but I think a bit of a mistake from Isma. Like, over-forcing, didn't really have the support, and Upset reading the situation well, gets the kill, buys time for Vladi on the bottom side as GIANTX over-pull in towards the mid lane. Again, just small little errors from GIANTX after what was a good play.
Yeah, just an overstep overall, and because of that, Fnatic able to get a tower down towards this bottom side. We'll get about a 2,000 gold lead now with the 20-minute mark. Noah still trying to scale up on this Aphelios, but the lead that he had developed for himself in the early game has now evaporated. Behind in gold only by about a minion's wave or so. On this Aphelios, he's very comfortable. 10 and 4 on it all time in the LEC, but there's a lot of weight on his shoulders in this game. You've got the Shockwave Paranoia combo, but it's Black Cleaver, Experiment, Hexplate. You've got a 3,000 gold disadvantage in your mid jungle. Noah needs that Wild Growth to protect him. Jun going Redemption first. Will be able to top up his teammates in the middle of a fight, but doesn't have the extra attack speed from something like an Ardent Sensor. Noah clears out the wave here. As Fnatic try and clear out to the GIANTX jungle. They'll go towards top and just get rid of some of this vision. Blast Cone themselves away.
I'm curious what Jun does continue to build. Traditionally, it's been the Shurelya's first on a lot of the Lulus, especially when you got the Aphelios to try and speed you up into fights. So do you try and just opt in towards that Ardent Sensor to buff up Noah as much as possible in fights? Or do you end up trying to go the Shurelya's route because so much of the fight will be happening away from you? I feel like you nearly need to make sure that Noah's getting into those fights. So it could be a while before that Ardent Sensor comes online, but at least with the Redemption style build here, to me it says Jun thinks the fight's going to be on top of Noah rather than chasing on towards fights.
And I think I agree with him. Noah does have the Ghost, so if he needs to get into a fight, he has one tool in his arsenal at least, but I agree that Shurelya will help. If the fight is on top of him, something like an Ardent Sensor helps a lot more. So with the Redemption, perhaps we are going to look down that attack speed buff route. 2 minutes on the next Drake would be sole point for GIANTX as Razork Upset and Lospa look. Do they know? The Paranoia comes out. Noah survives through it. Moonlight Vigil on the 7. Inferno coming out as well with a TP behind. Jun caught. Tries to flash away, but Isma and Jun have already fallen. Fnatic collapsed perfectly towards the mid lane with an equalizer onto Jackie's, who does still have the flash. The shockwave onto Vladi and to Razork when it becomes lightning, and Jackie's just able to sidestep it. If Jackie's falls there, I think that's Baron for Fnatic.
They're still chasing on towards Jackie's though, hadn't anywhere to go.
There's no tower there for him. Jackie's might just look for the execute, but Vladi not gonna give him that mercy. Vladi secures the kill, flash forward from Lospa. Noah flashes at the right moment. An opportune escape from Noah. And as the arc fills with the floodwaters, Noah trying to patch up every hole he can.
It's a hard work for Noah though, and Upset looks like he's going to interrupt him on the reset. Because these fights are just happening so quick. Fnatic are collapsing so well. But Loss, eyes on Upset in the mid lane. They want to make some play happen. Won't be looking for long, though. As Fnatic, again, immediately on towards Noah. He does manage to escape away from this, and good job holding on to the summoner spells here, but great teleport from Vladi, immediately picks off Jun. They're able to get on towards Isma, and honestly I thought Fnatic may feel comfortable to turn over towards the Baron, but trying to get on towards Jackie's, I think that ultimate, putting Razork and Vladi that little bit too low, where they don't want to follow through, especially as they can get the kill here as well, and they just want to hold on to their mid lane turret, as that's where GX were trying to put pressure.
I think the risk as well is Lot's alive and Noah's alive. Noah does still have flash. Lot is very tanky, and you can see if he's not there, GIANTX melt. Right? They just immediately die, even through the paranoia. Even if you can't see him, you just yeet the skill shots into the ether and they'll hit something. Lulu very squishy, obviously, as is Isma on this Nocturne. Fnatic now with a 4,000 gold lead. GIANTX still have some possibilities, but it's beginning to bleed. It's beginning to become a lot trickier for them to actually find ways into these fights. Upsets at 3 items, at 3 kills with the Fiend Hunters, the Kraken Slayer, and the Lord Dominic's regards complete. Vladi almost at 3 himself. Zhonya's and that Nash's tooth finished. And GIANTX just trying to find a little bit of gold on the map where they can. They're going to give up this Drake. Razork's already on it. No real reason for them to fight over it. It's a second dragon. Instead, they'll take their time to try and garner some vision control towards this top side.
Yeah, Emperor's going to catch the wave. Doesn't have TP available, so Fnatic look like they're just going to try and push out waves, reset, and get themselves back out and be as strong as possible. Upset, as you say, with 3 items now, incredibly strong. It feels like Fnatic kind of have their opportunities now to keep GIANTX on their side of the map, prevent them from making these quick pick plays, and just keep that pressure up around that Baron area and see if GIANTX overextend at some point.
Step in, get a little bit of vision for yourselves as well. Unsung hero of this game, well, it will be sung now. Lospa having a really good Alistar performance overall. Willing to throw himself into the fire to allow his teammates to pick up the pieces afterwards. And I mean, it's kind of what Alistar does, and people will be like, well, obviously you're just going to eat your QW in or WQ in. But he's been in the right spot at the right times and has found his man more often than not.
And the Zeke's conversion's helping with that as well. Yeah. You got that AoE slow for an Orianna and an Aphelios that don't really have many ways to try and escape away from it. So keeping people in place for Razork to try and chase down, for Empyros to get off a good Rumble ultimate. And he's leading the charge here. Definitely a strong performance in the way he's linked up with Razork across this game.
Being in the right place at the right time really often, and now Fnatic calling GIANTX to the Baron pit. Lot does have TP, but meanwhile, right now is right at the bot side. It's going to teleport in. The Baron down to about 7,000. It's a tricky one because Lot can just face check. Lospa looking for that flank position. Paranoia coming out. Noah chipped away. Lospa trying to get onto the backline. Immediately dives onto Noah. The wild growth out. There's a polymorph too. Razork jumping in, and that Aphelios is sent to the moon. Upset gets another. GIANTX all flash out as Fnatic clean up the fight and now turn their eyes back towards the Baron.
That nearly looked dicey for Fnatic. GIANTX getting the combo onto 2 members, but Lospa jumping on towards Noah, and it's panic stations for GIANTX as they try to save the AD carry.
And that's the weakness, right? If Noah's dead, Jackie's isn't strong, no one else really has the power. Have another look at this. Lospa with a really good flank position overall.
Yeah, there's so much pressure on towards this left-hand side of the screen, but Lospa immediately jump onto Noah, blocks the ultimate as well from the Aphelios, so there is no follow-up damage to try and take out Vladi. And just like that, Fnatic, they find the fight that they want, and it's Baron in their back pockets.
And now a 6,000 gold lead for them alongside it. Fnatic play this mid-game really well. Empyros, who was the star of the early game, really hasn't had to do too much. It's been up on an upset Lospa, and Vladi actually having some really good plays to catch out Jackie's in that mid-game.
And it's also funny, Lospa coming into this game was talking about, hey, if I can mark Jun for these good flank opportunities, that's how we're going to win. But it's actually Lospa with those great flank opportunities as, hello, Jake, as just really, really solid play from the Fnatic support. And now they're reaping the benefits. Push on bot lane, push on mid. You have a very short-range composition as GIANTX, and Jackie's can't be in 2 lanes at once. So Fnatic tearing through these structures as they go.
Just extending that lead, still have Baron for 2 minutes. We'll say the flanking Lulu, not that scary a lot of the time. Doesn't really tend to do too much. GIANTX licking their wounds, trying to find a way back into the game. And they do have some tools. You've got an Aphelios, he's almost at 3 items. He does do a lot of damage, but you gotta work really hard to protect him. Razork now with a Guardian Angel. Jumps onto Isma, and it's so many of these luxury items for Fnatic that they've been able to build because they have the lead. Two people have a Zhonya's or a Seeker's. You've got a Guardian Angel on Razork. Upset the only one without something that brings him back from the brink of death, but he's upset. He's very good at protecting himself when he needs to.
He's also kind of just bringing death, to be perfectly honest.
That he is. 4 kills so far on the game. Noah trying to clear out this wave. Lospa flashes in, gets the headbutt, looks for the pulverize backwards. The paranoia coming out as well. They've dived onto Noah. Moonlight Vigil goes to absolute Narnia. Jun caught out on the backside as Fnatic ripped through GIANTX. Jackie's having to flash away. Razork looking for the chase, but now with the Baron buff and another couple of waves, Fnatic might just go for the win.
Fnatic, confident play on the day, flashes, everything burnt to make sure they can take this one.
Jackie's and Isma, what can you do against 5 men of Fnatic? Empyros flashes in, trying to take the game into his own hands. Upset doing the same, forces Isma back to the fountain. Can't quite clip his wings as he sits there and watches Fnatic claim the win in convincing fashion.